Howl. Unlike the previous times, his pet showed an adorably miserable look at the mention of training to express its reluctance. Seeing Purple Jade trying to escape training by acting cute, he squatted and rubbed its head. Buddy, do you want to eat delicious food? Do you want to play games? Howl. The cub bobbed its head fast, looking very excited. Do you know how to obtain those delicious food and fun games? He wagged a finger at it. Howl. Looking doubtful, it grabbed his finger and tried to act cute again as if to say that he was the best for giving it all the good things. No, no. All those good things require money. If I don't have money, I can't let you eat delicious food and have fun. Howl. You're asking me how to make money? There are many ways to make money, but for us, we can only do so by becoming stronger and selling monsters we successfully hunt down. Anyway, if you're strong, we'll have a steady flow of money, resulting in a steady flow of delicious food and fun stuff. If we don't have money, the both of us will have to starve for a few days. Also, if we don't have money, you might survive, but I'll likely starve to death. Howl. After being imparted with his thoughts, the cub temporarily bound together training to become stronger than eating and playing. Hence, it became determined to train hard. Unbeknown to its owner, what made it decide to work hard was not the enticement of eating delicious food or being able to have fun but the fear of him actually starving to death due to lack of money. During training, Subai did not just rely on his voice to command Purple Jade. Instead, he joined the cub in sparring, running, and jumping so that he, too, could adapt to various types of terrain, like the forest, in a fight. With his participation, the cub's interest intensified. It felt that it was playing with its owner instead of training. Today, his training goal comprised not only the various vine whip attacks but also the cub's body development. He trained its dodging ability, its sharpening of claws, and its spiritual power usage to temper the body and form a protection spirit. Of course, he knew that it was impossible to train so many things in one morning, so he let his pet digest everything first and develop a general idea in its heart. The physiques of pets and people were vastly different. Subai's physique made it such that he had to stop and rest from time to time, whereas the considerate Purple Jade could soothe him with spiritual power, warming his whole heart, even after it had just gone through training. When they returned home at past 10 a.m., he gave the cub a whole wood spirit potion as a reward. He also let it play with his phone for half an hour. At noon, the two brothers took the cub and their mother's spirit to the construct reservoir. At the side of the river, Subai first bribed his mother's jellyfish-like pet with a water spirit crystal, and after it finished eating it, he smiled and said, "Sister Water Ripples, please help me check the situation in the reservoir. This is my mobile phone, you can just record a video." Since he was not Michael Phelps, his mobile phone was naturally not waterproof, but it would be fine if it was wrapped in spiritual power. Splash! The blue jellyfish-like spirit glanced at Subai and reached for his phone before it plunged into the reservoir. "Brother, what do you think is down there?" Suyu glanced at the water surface. "I don't know, let's wait and see once Mom's spirit comes out." The construct reservoir was not big and was just an earthrock dam with a water area of several hundred hectares. About an hour later, Water Ripples explored the entire area and jumped out. Splash, splash. Subai took his phone and handed another spirit crystal to his mother's spirit, which seemed to have made a big discovery. Suyu and Purple Jade both leaned over as he turned on the phone. The first thing they saw were pictures of large and small tortoises as well as some fishes. Iron turtle, dragon fish, bubble fish. These are all servant-level monsters. Since when were there so many monsters in the reservoir? They shouldn't be here, should they? After looking at the pictures of these fish monsters, Subai clicked on the video and finally understood why there were so many of them in the reservoir. In the video, a light blue spatial crack could be seen at a certain location in the depths of the reservoir. This spatial crack was not big and rather looked slender and elongated. In fact, it could probably only fit creatures the size of a rabbit based on the current situation underwater. Furthermore, a blue light seeped through from the other end of the crack. Through Water Ripple's description, Subai guessed that what was seeping through from the other water side was a type of aura. Such things happened from time to time, and whenever there was a space crack, there would be spiritual power tides. Some people had speculated that the spiritual energy rejuvenation 100 years ago might have been the cause of these spiritual energy tides. This is probably a stable small space crack that has been around for a while. These new monsters and spirits were likely drawn here by the spiritual power trickling in from the other side. Su-yu turned to look at his older brother with shining eyes. Su-bai understood what his gaze meant. This was an opportunity to make a fortune. This kind of stable and small space crack was not in the least bit harmless. On the contrary, the concentration of aura in the construct reservoir would be greatly increased due to the aura penetration, turning this place into a treasure trove. Such a place was undoubtedly an excellent breeding ground for some of the edible plant spirits and monsters. As such, it had great economic value. As long as no one found out, they could make lots of money by using this place for breeding, planting, and reselling. I understand what you mean. Mom and Dad are resting at home today, I'll give them a call. With a nod, Su-bai picked up his mobile phone and rang his father's number. On the phone, he did not mention the space crack and only said that they had to rush over for something. About 10 minutes later, their group in the reservoir saw a big blue bird flying down from the sky. Their parents were on its back, enveloped by a blue shield. What happened? Asked Father Su after he jumped off the bird's back. He had clearly felt the difference in his older son's tone on the phone earlier. Mom, Dad, come and see for yourself. Su-bai handed the phone to them. Both adults were pet tamers, so they would definitely understand the situation at first glance, especially his father, who had actually been a beginner pet tamer before. He had a 2-star silver contract book and 2 warlord-level pets. However, during that great battle in the wilderness, he had suffered significant injuries. Now, only his high-level servant Green Featherbird was left. Although he had not gone out to take risks ever since his marriage, he still possessed the relevant knowledge and awareness. Sure enough, after a single glance, his mother said, "I'll go down to take a look. If it's really a small stable space crack and there's no danger of expansion for the time being, we'll immediately go to the town council and buy the whole reservoir." "Okay, be careful, I'll look out for you here at the surface." Father Su nodded, naturally attracted by such an opportunity. Water Ripples took its owner into the water, while Father Su came over to pat his 2 sons on their shoulders. "Good boys, you two did an excellent job today. You're both very smart and cautious, much like me." He smiled. "Dad, you're shameless," retorted his 2 sons in unison. "Stinky boys, are you begging for a beating?" He scolded them jokingly, then brought his Green Featherbird to look out for his wife. 10 minutes later, they both returned. "Don't tell anyone about this and delete the video on your phone immediately. Your mom will use her spirit to camouflage the situation down there for now. We'll go back and find a way to purchase the whole reservoir." "Okay, go ahead. We'll return in a while." Su-bai still wanted to continue training Purple Jade.